You're listening to 5-episode thriller. Dare to like this episode and subscribe if you hunger for more. Now, let the shadows begin to stir. Episode 3, her name was Clara. The island didn't wake that morning. It roiled. Mist curled from the earth like breath from an open grave, and the air tasted metallic, charged, like the moment before lightning strikes. Harper stood at the edge of the veranda, barefoot, clutching the card in her hand. Remember her. She had said the name aloud last night. Clara. And in the silence that followed, Sophie had gasped. I didn't think you remembered, she'd whispered. Now they all did. The villa had grown colder in the night, not in temperature, but in mood, like something ancient and watching had stirred. Liz was still missing. And now Clara's memory moved through their minds like a ghost seeking form. Harper turned the card over again and again. No seal. No handwriting she could pin to a person. But she remembered the shape of Clara's face, though time had tried to scrub it clean. Light brown eyes. An overbite she was still embarrassed by. The way she used to pull at her sleeves when she lied. Clara had been strange, sensitive, too soft for the brittle hardness of their friendship. She was newer than the rest, a scholarship student with second-hand uniforms and a brilliant, quiet brain. Harper had liked her, once, before everything went wrong. Tanya entered the veranda quietly, holding a folder in her hands. It was old, the corners curling, the color sun-bleached and fragile. I found this in the library, she said, tucked behind some novels. It wasn't there yesterday. Harper opened it slowly. Inside were pages from an old-school disciplinary report. St. Bernardine's Girls' Academy, 2007. And the name at the top, Clara A. Dove. The pages described her expulsion after an incident in the chapel. Vandalism, defacement of sacred items, threatening behavior. No other names mentioned. Clara was said to have confessed, but Harper knew now the truth was a different thing entirely. They had dared Clara that night, told her to go into the chapel and light every candle. Say something blasphemous, Mira had goaded, grinning. Prove you're not as pure as you act, Liz had said, and Clara had done it. Desperate to be accepted, trembling with fear, she had stepped inside that chapel. Alone. And something had gone wrong. They had all run when the window shattered. Harper remembered the scream. It had sounded too loud for one girl, too animal. Harper hadn't looked back. She hadn't thought about it in years. Until now. Sophie joined them with red eyes and a shaking voice. I remembered something else, she said. Clara came to me the next day. She begged me to say what really happened, to back her up. Why didn't you? Tanya asked. Because I was afraid, Sophie whispered. Afraid of Liz. Afraid of what we'd started. It didn't feel like a lie. Not then. It just felt easier. Mira came last, walking barefoot across the tiled floor, eyes shadowed with exhaustion. There's something in the woods, she said flatly. Near the well. A small grave. Fresh dirt. They followed her. Into the trees. Past the stone path and tangled vines. To a place where the ground had been disturbed. The cross stuck in the earth was makeshift. 2 driftwood branches tied with string. Carved into the cross was one word, Clara, and beneath it, another card. Justice requires memory, and a price. None of them spoke. A silence fell over the forest, deep and expectant. By afternoon, the envelope appeared on the breakfast table. Pale green seal. Harmless looking. Trial 4. Deliver her eulogy. Each of you, out loud. From the chapel. The one who speaks falsely will not return. The chapel? Mira said. There's no chapel on this island. There wasn't, Harper murmured. But maybe there is now. They found it by sunset, not on a map, not along any known trail. It simply appeared after they passed a ring of black stones known near the lagoon. A small wooden building, too old to belong on a modern resort island. And yet there it was, the same shape as the one from school. Weather-beaten, quiet. Doors ajar. Inside, candles flickered. Dust floated like ash in the dying light. And there, near the front, a podium had been placed. Beside it, a single bench and a camera. The challenge awaited. Mira went first. Her voice cracked, but she spoke. I didn't really know Clara, but I saw her. I saw the way we ignored her, used her. I laughed when Liz dared her. I thought she was lucky to be part of our group, but she wasn't lucky. She was trapped. She stepped down, pale, shaking. Tanya followed. I didn't stop it. I was there. I could have pulled her out, told her not to go in, not to listen to Liz, but I let it happen. She wasn't one of us. Not really. And that made it easier. Sophie stepped up next. She came to me crying, and I shut my door. I thought if I didn't hear her, I wasn't responsible. But I was. We all were. She stepped down. Only Harper remained. She walked to the podium, the old wood groaning beneath her hands. The candles flickered. I knew Clara was scared that night, but I said nothing. I watched her walk into the chapel. I didn't stop her, and when it happened, when the window broke and the screaming started, I ran. She looked up, eyes stinging. She took the blame, and we let her. The candles sputtered. One by one, they blew out. A silence followed. Then a door slammed behind them. They turned. The bench was empty. The room was still. Sophie was gone. No one had seen her leave. Harper called her name. Tanya ran outside. Mira checked the trees, but she had vanished. Not a trace. Just another absence. Another ghost added to the island. They returned to the villa in silence. Night fell with a finality that felt almost ceremonial. 3 left. At midnight, another envelope. This time, Harper opened it alone. 3 points make a triangle. Triangles are stable, until they're not. The next trial will be blood. She stood for a long time with the card in her hand, staring at the dark windows of the villa. Somewhere out there, someone was watching. Maybe Clara, maybe Liz, maybe no one at all. She remembered a song they used to sing at St. Bernardine's, a lullaby, hummed by the nuns on stormy nights. The drowned women's lullaby, a melody meant to ward off nightmares. She hadn't heard it in years. But now, through the wind and the rustling palms, she swore she heard someone humming. The morning began with no sun, just gray light filtering through thick cloud, casting the villa in a dull and lifeless glow. Harper didn't speak when she found the new envelope on the terrace table. She didn't have to. Tanya and Mira stood behind her, as though summoned by instinct. This time, the seal was red. Trial 5. One must bleed. One must choose. The other must decide. No trick. No illusion. There must be pain. Only pain unlocks what's next. Tanya exhaled sharply, stepping back. What the hell does that even mean? Mira turned away, her voice low. It means we're being made to hurt each other. No. Harper's voice came out raw, but steady. It means we already have. The rain started mid-morning, gentle at first, then heavy, sheets of water crashing against the villa's windows like fists. The jungle outside seemed to grow wilder with every downpour, vines writhing and roots cracking through soil. Harper found herself back in her room, alone, sitting on the bed. She pulled open the drawer of the nightstand out of habit, and there it was. A first aid kit. Inside, gauze, antiseptic, bandages, and a scalpel. Not a coincidence. She took it, held it in her palm. Cold, precise. Meant for surgery. Meant for precision, not pain. But the card had been clear. One must bleed. One must choose. The other must decide. Harper sat on the bed with the scalpel and her silence. Minutes passed like hours. Then Tanya entered. "I'll do it," she said. Harper looked up, startled. "What?" "The bleeding. I'll do it. If it'll end this trial, I'll do it." But the rules were never that simple. Not on this island. It said one must bleed. One must choose. One must decide. Tanya nodded. "Then I choose to bleed. You decide how." Harper swallowed hard. This isn't right. None of this is, but we're not getting off this island unless we finish what we started. Mira appeared then, standing in the doorway, soaked from the rain. "Wait," she said. "If anyone should do this, it should be me." Tanya turned. "You think pain can erase what happened? That bleeding for Clara makes you innocent?" "No," Mira said. "But maybe it makes me less guilty." Harper stood and held up the scalpel. "Stop," she said. "This is exactly what they want." "And who is they?" Mira asked, eyes dark. "Clara? Liz? Some island spirit punishing us for teenage cruelty? Or is it just us? We made this place hell the moment we landed." Tanya stepped forward. "Let's vote. Quietly. The one who bleeds, the one who chooses, and the one who decides." Harper looked at them both. Then she nodded. They wrote names on scraps of paper. Folded. Swapped. Opened. When it was done, Harper bled. She stood in the center of the villa's lounge, breathing hard, sleeves rolled up. Mira held the scalpel like it was made of fire. Tanya stood as witness. "You sure?" Mira asked. Harper nodded. The blade cut quick and shallow across her upper arm. Not deep, but real. The blood came bright and clean. Harper didn't flinch. A low hum filled the air. From the speakers, from the jungle, it vibrated in their teeth, their bones. Then the floor beneath the villa shifted. A click, like stone against stone. Something had been unlocked. They found it beneath the main bedroom, a trapdoor they had never seen before. Covered in tiles, sealed with iron clasps, It opened with a creak. A staircase led down into the earth. "Of course," Tanya whispered, "because we haven't gone deep enough yet." The stairs descended into cool stone. Candles lit the way, already burning. Beneath the villa was a room. Small, circular, silent. At the center, a chair, facing a wall of mirrors, and in those mirrors, their younger selves, all three of them. 16, school uniforms, laughing. But Clara wasn't among them. Instead, she stood behind them in the reflection, unmoving, watching. Her face was unreadable. Harper stepped forward. "Clara?" No reply. The voice came instead from the speakers hidden in the walls. "Your memories are wrong. You see what you want to see. But now you must see what was." The mirrors shifted, flickered, became a playback of that night. Clara in the chapel, lighting candles, crying. Then Liz's voice, loud, sharp, cruel. "Come on, Clara! Say it! Say you hate God!" "I don't," Clara had said, sobbing. "Say it or we tell everyone you kissed a girl." Then silence. Then Clara whispering, "I hate God." The room shook, a window shattered, the candles blew out, a scream ripped through the night, but it hadn't been Clara screaming. It had been Harper. She had screamed first. The mirrors cracked. Back in the present, Harper fell to her knees. "I remember now, I screamed. I saw something. Someone else was in that chapel." "Who?" Tanya asked. "I don't know, but Clara saw them too." The candles went out. When the lights returned, the room was empty, except for one thing, another photo, this one of Clara, older, maybe early 20s, standing outside a temple somewhere tropical. She looked healthy, strong, alive. On the back, she found peace. What will you find? They climbed back to the villa in silence. The rain had stopped. The jungle steamed under the afternoon heat. Later that night, they sat in the main room watching the ocean shimmer under the moon. "What if this place isn't about punishment?" Tanya asked. "What if it's about recovery?" Mira shook her head. "Then why the pain?" "Maybe because healing hurts." The power flickered. The speakers buzzed, and the lullaby played again. The same one from St. Bernardine's. Soft, haunting, wordless. The drowned women's lullaby. They listened, and for the first time, none of them moved. Then Harper stood and walked to the window. Far across the sand, standing at the edge of the jungle, was a figure. Long hair, school uniform, watching, not moving. "Do you see her?" Harper asked. Tanya and Mira joined her. "I see her," Tanya said. "So do I," Mira whispered, "but I don't think it's Clara." And then the girl in the distance turned and walked into the trees. Gone. The card came at dawn. Just one word, confession. And beneath it, 3 boarding passes. All with today's date. All with names scratched out. End of episode 3. If this tale left you uneasy, give it a like. Share it with someone brave enough to listen alone. And subscribe to 5-episode Thriller. Your next nightmare is creeping closer.